back to the interesting point. You said that you guys think that they've sent at least 15. Al Qaeda alone has sent at least 1,500 people here in the United States.
Correct.
What do they plan on doing with them?
They have a 2025 multi-coordinated, multi-city plot to avenge the death of Osama Bin Laden.
What? Okay, so I've watched you on podcasts. I've never heard that. Could you explain that more?
Yeah, essentially, so we're going to put a report on Monday, but essentially, Al-Qaeda is actually who helped plan the Hamas attacks. The Hamas attacks is a dress rehearsal. So the Hamas attacks is the practice attack, and then the big attack is going to be in the United States and then in 4 countries in Europe.
Okay. You guys want to go home and load magazines?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm thinking.
I hope a lot of people come into your shop and stock up. It would be smart.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
What's the time frame?
All we know is that the attack was planned for 2025.
I mean, I think instead of super bad, we should call you Spooky Sarah.
I do scare a lot of people,
Fucking
but it's not
scary,
my
Sarah.
intention. I just want people to be aware so they can prepare.
Yeah. Be aware.
So, all right, back up. I'm sorry. You said that it was actually Al Qaeda directing Hamas into the October 7th attacks.
Well, what happened is there's multiple groups involved in the plotting. So it was Al-Qaeda, the Afghan Taliban, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and then obviously Hamas was the operational element on the ground.
And are all those the same branch of Islam?
No, actually, over time, basically, Hamas and Iran have grown into kind of the camp Al-Qaeda's in. And a lot of this actually really happened. I mean, it's been happening for a long time. We actually even just saw it in the Libyan revolution, which was 2011. But they really all came together in the Syria fight. That's when a lot of groups started coalescing. You would even see like guys fighting with Al-Qaeda, and then a few months later they're fighting with ISIS, and then a few months after they're fighting with Al-Qaeda. And so I really think it was the brotherhoods from fighting in Syria that has brought us to this evolution we're at today.
So, okay, there is an active plot that's real for Al-Qaeda and its operatives to do a October 7th style attack in the United States and 4 other European countries.
Yes, that's correct.
And organizations that you are part of are going to issue a report on it on Monday.
No, Monday is actually Boon and I's personal investigation into the plotting and training that happened in advance of the October 7th Hamas attacks.
Okay.
But it's a lot of the same individuals, as you can imagine, who are also planning our homeland attack.
Did they get any inspiration from the Tet Offensive attacks and General Giap of Vietnam?
Well, we haven't seen any evidence of that. I doubt it. It's possible, but I don't think so.
Yeah, it's just, it reminded me so much of the Tet Offensive, October 7th. You know what I mean? And that was all planned by Giap. And to me, it looked like the same thing. And then right when I saw it, I was like, ooh, they're going to do that in the United States. And but I thought it would happen a while ago. Why hasn't it happened so far? They want the election to be, do they even care about the election?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about them discussing the election. The thing is, it takes time to train properly. Like I said, they needed to train everybody in Afghanistan, and they actually have done a more standardized training. So over the years, Al-Qaeda's had a bunch of failed bombing plots, right? Like the underwear bomber is a really good example.
Who was the underwear bomber?
It was basically a Christmas Day plot out of Detroit, and he really didn't do his bomb correctly. It would have been very unfortunate if it had gone off correctly.
Was it the wrong underwear?
Yeah.
It was tighty whities instead of bikini briefs.
Yeah, so they had a lot of things like that happen, as you can imagine. So they want to make sure everyone's properly trained, but they're done. So they've completed the training of all the homeland attackers, and then, as you can imagine, then they have to get them here, right, through mostly they are shooting for legal immigration, but if they need to, illegal immigration. So the training's done, and they've already been forward deployed. So a large number of them are already here in the United States. They made it successfully, and none of them, from what we know so far, were caught.
None.
0.
What about the guy they caught on video saying, you don't know my name, but you will know my name?
Yeah, I mean,
Who's that guy?
I don't know exactly. I mean, there were some guesses in the press. He's clearly from one of the stands, right? In Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, from how he speaks.
Kakistan?
What?
Kakistan?
Yeah, sure, Kakistan. So yeah, he's friends with Borat. So yeah, that guy makes me nervous, right? When you watch a guy in that video and he has that kind of confidence, he's somebody very senior within some sort of group. Maybe it's not a terrorist group. He could have also been senior, in a military and intelligence agency, but he definitely had an idea, it seemed like a negative view of America, but he was coming in, right? And that's the people we should be worried the most about.
It's alarming. And I mean, I thought about what the things you might say. I didn't think you were going to say there's going to be a planned attack by.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys think?
No, this is like shocking.
All of you have probably watched Sarah Adams' podcast, right?
Yeah.
She hasn't talked about this, right? No.
Like I said, this is shocking me.
No, so why would the United States have open borders after they left Afghanistan? They had to have, the United States had intelligence services had to be notifying the president and notifying Congress about the possibilities of what Afghanistan would turn into. And when it turned into what it is now, they had to know, and they probably said something. Why haven't we done anything like close the borders?
Actually, one of the problems is we lost 99% of intelligence collection in Afghanistan. So actually, we're not collecting most of this. So we're actually relying on the Taliban for intelligence collection in Afghanistan, and they're providing misinformation to the U.S. government.
So your intel came from the Taliban? Or
The U.S. government's intel came from the Taliban. My intel's better.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, you would, but why would the United States, so if there's terrorist organizations and we have open borders, then you would think the United States would say, let's close our borders. Let's do something.
Actually, the United States doesn't have the Taliban listed as a designated terrorist organization, and we have an official government relationship with them to include an intelligence sharing relationship with the Taliban right now.
Seems really smart.
Yeah, we should fire those people.